Hey everyone, it's Valerie with Kolektif 509. I'm here with the second edition of the Heart of Haiti. And today we have a very special guest, an artist that has really inspired me, has given us so much support in Kolektif 509, and has really made a mark in the contemporary art movement in Haiti. I personally think she's like the mother of Haitian contemporary art in Haiti. But I'm so honored to introduce Barbara Prezeau Stephenson. And Xavier is with us as well. Xavier, how you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Amazing. Barbara, thank you so much for accepting to be part of this series.
We're happy to have you today.
Thank you, Valerie and Xavier. Thank you for all this wonderful job that you are doing. I'm so proud to see how the new generation of visual artists and curators are active and continuing the job. So thank you very much to give me this.
We learned. We have some good models to learn from. And where are you joining us today, Barbara? Where are you?
I'm in Montreal, actually.
Ah, okay. And are you based in Montreal, or where are you?
No. I'm based in France. I just had a long travel of 2 months that drives me into Miami, where I had to participate to the first art museum project.
Yes.
With Tatiana Flores Curators. It's the Caribbean Undercurrents project. And then I went to Guadeloupe also to participate in a festival about it's a festival about human rights in Guadeloupe, and I had a performance. I made a performance in front of the Memorial Act Museum. That is a very significant equipment in terms of visibility for memory and the culture.
Absolutely.
On the Caribbean culture.
Absolutely. And we're going to get a little bit into that, because I know recently you had posted pictures online. So I would love to get into it and understand the reason behind this performance a little bit later. There's so much that I don't even know if an hour is going to be enough time, right? Don't you think, Xavier? It's not enough with Barbara has so much to share with us.
Sure. Barbara have a lot to share with us, but we have to be reasonable and go straight to the point, because Barbara have a huge career as an artist, as a curator, as an art activist, and we're going to try to make a good resume of everything.
Let's try.
Awesome. So let me go ahead and share. So what to expect from today's webinar. We're going to get a chance to really pick the brain of artist Barbara Prezeau Stephenson. We're going to revisit her artwork, the past, the present, and the future. And we're also going to discuss and understand the current orientation of her work. And we're going to learn about her upcoming projects and also her past projects, because in addition to Barbara being an artist, she's also the co-founder of AfricAmerica. And I know she has some really exciting news to share about that, but you guys have to wait till the end of the interview to get to know that. So Barbara, once again, thank you so much for participating in our webinar. Tell us a little about yourself. Who are you? Who is Barbara?
Well, I can say that I'm the daughter of 2 artists, my mother and my father. My mother, who's a painter and a gallerist, and my father, who's also a sort of generalist artist, touching all kind of medium. Music as well my father's is very passionate of books, and is also a collector. So I grew up in a cultural
environment.
Environment, yes.
It was very stimulating, I guess.
Yes, yes. I have souvenirs of Centre d'Art when I was child. I grew up in my mother's gallery, and I used to see all the Haitian masters coming, have discussions, and this was a very stimulating environment, of course. And then I went to HeART. I was one of the first generation of visual artists from HeART. Then I went to Canada. I had a bachelor on art, a visual art bachelor in Canada, and then I also had a sort of minor in art history. I'm also passionate of art history. Then I went to France for 4 years, long story. Then I went to Senegal for 4 years, for 2 years, excuse me. And then I came back in 1995 in Haiti. Then I have worked in Haiti during 20 years.
Yeah, you did a lot of work in Haiti by building the foundation, pushing the artists, stimulate them to, and now a lot of artists have something for you. Like,
yes. I think my addition to the Haitian cultural art and to the visual art field was the international dimension, because when I arrived in 1995, I already had several international experiences, like the first Biennale of Dakar, like the international, the 1992 international exhibition in Sevilla. And I already have networks between Europe, Africa, North America, Latin America, and I think it was unique. I was in a unique position to share all of this and make it profitable for my peers in Haiti. So that was the motivation to create the AfricAmerica Foundation and the Transcultural Art Forum in 2000. And then since that, I have worked, and I have also created the cultural center. That was one of the first cultural center legally registered structure in Haiti, because before that, all the association or initiative were informal, were done in an informal mood, and could not pretend to international fundings. So I have changed all of this, and I have developed some models that now I can see how this model is applied by the new generation, and I'm very proud of that.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, but you see the problem. When I start talking about me, I'm talking about AfricAmerica, and you don't. I still haven't explained my trajectory as a visual artist.
Right, and it's all part of the story, because you have your own personal art career.
It should be the biggest part of the story, but unfortunately, I did also other things.
Well, before we dive, a little bit more in depth with your personal artwork, I wanted you to quickly talk to us about AfricAmerica. What was the objective?
Okay. And it is a legal.
How did it started?
AfricAmerica have been the first legal structured organization dedicated to visual contemporary art in Haiti. I have created with 2 girls, one from Montreal and one from Senegal. And since the beginning, the target was on international positioning, and the objective was to set in place to implement the forum, the Transcultural Contemporary Art Forum, that brings artists and curators from all over the world, but specifically from the Caribbean region and Africa in Haiti to work with their Haitian peers.
And as you're talking, I'm just putting on the screen some pictures of the last, one of the big events that AfricAmerica had did that Kolektif 509 also helped with was this amazing accomplishment of the book, the 15 years of contemporary art in Haiti. And I remember this day, it was an amazing, amazing day to get all the artists together, expose their artwork, and then people, the public, had a chance to actually talk with the artists and, you know, pick their brain and get an idea of, you know, where they were coming from.
Yes.
So here we have, I think, Yael Talleyrand, we have Serge Jolimo, Maxence Denis, we have some sculptures from yourself, Guiaudo, and the last picture is all the artists that came together on that special day. So it was quite important. I think a huge accomplishment in the contemporary art field.
It was a huge accomplishment. It was very important also to document the work AfricAmerica did, because a lot of work do in Haiti, unfortunately, doesn't leave any mark.
Traceability. But I think it is the difference that I also my input is my scholar formation. I have a scholar approach, and then the documentation aspect is part of my scholarity.
Absolutely. It's like institutional memory that you're trying to hold on to. So for future generations.
Each exhibition is recorded through photography, through journalistic report, critics. Everything is registered and kept from the beginning to now.
Wonderful. That's something that the future generation will get a chance to enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, new share. Let me show you, let me get back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so now, Barbara, I want to get into, you know, your specific individual artworks, because you are very versatile as an artist. I've seen paintings from you, I've seen sculptures from you, I've seen performances from you. So tell me a little bit about this particular piece.
Okay. I'll tell you about this particular piece. Bon, to me, this piece is it's a diptych. It's typical of my work. You find all my visual preoccupations about signs, about script, about symbols, what I call the archetypes, and for the last 30 years, I think it is the script and signs is a constant that shows the coherency through 30 years of work. This piece is typical of my work. You have the script, the symbols, the signs, which is during the last 30 years, it is a constant in my work.
C'est quoi le titre? What is the title of these pieces?
Oh, c'est la puissance de l'amour. You can see Angela Davis in front of my piece, my diptych. And La puissance de l'amour, the title is a little bit ironistic. It is about, c'est un clin d'œil. Comment tu dis un clin d'œil in English? It is a joke about the popularity of telenovelas in Haiti. When I go to the hairdressers in Haiti, I can see all the women, how they are having a sort of double life with the relationship with the reality, the tele-reality. The tele-reality became part of their life. The characters are their friends or their enemies, and they are very passionate about it. And and that makes me laugh. And the title was a connection to that. It's a little bit kitsch also. And La puissance de l'amour, yes, it sounds like a very kitsch telenovelas title.
That's funny, and I know my Haitians, they love the telenovelas.
Yes. I don't know why, because nobody looks like them. You have this
they like the
young woman, very, you know, and I mean, nobody looks like that in Haiti, especially this woman in the hairdressers. But it's typical of the
they like the drama,
the disconnection between the reality and the projections. They project themselves into people that definitely don't have no connection with them.
Yeah, it's from their current, you know, environment, and it's an opportunity for them to have an hour and a half to just like dive into this world.
Well, they are transform it into metamorphosis, into other people, rich, beautiful blonde girls and beautiful, rich golden boy. That's make me laugh.
It's interesting to reflect on that. Mm-hmm. So here's the next one that I pulled out from your website, Variation, cool, comment on dit ça? Curl, dunk. Can you explain a little bit about?
It is one of my last series. I did it in France after I left Haiti in January 2016. And as you can see, I use archetypes, signs, and these are small works, very small works. It is a series of 30 small works with, it's just ink on paper. And in this series particularly, I was looking for simplifying as possible my language, my visual language. And it is I'm always concerned about looking for the most simple language, elements and language. Have it the more simple as possible.
But I saw a link with La puissance de l'amour et les cœurs d'encre. This is a continuation of a telenovela? Or
no, not at all. The earth is it's a symbol that I really use. I really love to use because it's it have multiple interpretation.
Okay.
It could be courage, it could be love, it could be passion, and it is comprehensible for many civilization and culture.
Yes.
And it doesn't need explanation. It doesn't need a lot of explanation. It's direct communication.
I see it as a universal. It's universal.
It's universal. This is why I call all of these experiences archetypes, in reference to Jung, the psychanalyst.
Okay.
Okay, here's the next piece. Another archetypes for me, it is the vegetation.
The leaf.
The symbol of nature. Nature that could also be a pharmacy for native people.
Yes. So it's a way to people can connect to the nature to heal themselves. And it's for me when I saw these pieces and you told me about like the leaf as a pharmacy, maybe it's a way for you to heal yourself, to eliminate all the.
You think the poison? Okay, but pharmakon in Greek have both signification, poison and medicine.
Yes.
And in the we Caribbean people have inherited from the Amazonian civilization through the Taino and the Caribbean.
Yeah,
and the medicine and the poison science is very strong, and the transmission have been done. I grew up in a sort of traditional family where the garden was also our pharmacy.
Yes.
My parents teach me, my grandmothers teach me how to use each plant for different type of affectation.
Absolutely. Like you have your stomach hurts, go to the hibiscus,
Yes.
You get mal tête, your head's hurting.
Yes, and it's not just the drink, it's also the bath. It is the oil and all kind of practices.
Absolutely. Very important. Very important.
Yes.
Okay, we're back to the flowers. I'm sorry, we're back to the hearts again. This is one of my favorite pieces that you have created. Can you talk a little bit about these three different images?
And the one in the middle is it's a case of scandal.
I heard.
It is
What's happened?
a group of monuments that it was a public command. It is in Jacques-Merle, and it was a group of three sculpture, and two of them had just disappeared, and nobody even asked, even the government, even the Ministry of Tourism that was the sponsor. They have paid for it, and they just don't care of what happened with it.
So it just disappeared. And no one has investigated to see
no one's feel responsible to understand what happened. We don't know if it have been recycled as just for the iron, or if it is a rich person who just put it in his garden.
Maybe.
Or if it is the municipality, you just took it because it had it was a little bit it was not entertaining. Comment tu dire, tu vois?
Yes.
There's many possibilities, but nobody cares.
Well, if anybody's watching this video, okay, that we will diffuse, please, if anybody knows about this sculpture, help us find it.
It's like the
What happened?
Côté cœur.
Côté cœur là. Hashtag côté cœur là.
Exactly.
Okay.
En tout cas, si nous, dans la commune, please, relève Valérie. N'a pas aidé
So tell me about the left one. I think the left sculpture might be a little bit too hard to steal. Tell me about this.
The small one? Oh, I made it just for my friend. I made it specifically for Pascal Théard. That is a designer that I really loved. She's very creative and she's very supportive also. We had worked together on the village of Noailles, Bouquets, and she also gave me the opportunity to make my biggest art pieces, which is a mural of 70 meters. And Pascal was the curator of this project in the village artistic of Noailles in Croix des Bouquets. So it was a way to say to Pascal how I love her and I love her work.
Definitely, and we'll get into it a little bit more about this sculpture that you're talking about, because I think it has a lot of significance. Okay. Before I move on to the next slide, can you quickly tell us that heart that's all the way on the left? That's the one that's at Lac Azoué, correct?
Okay, this is in, you can see the Azoué Lake underground.
The biggest lake in Haiti.
The biggest lake, it's salted.
Salted
water, beautiful blue lake, untouched, lightly untouched, and not exploited on a touristic way. And it's a huge natural resource and a beautiful landscape that reminds me a lot about Senegal and West Africa, because it is a very dry landscape. Looks like the savannah in West Africa. It looks like Niger or Kenya also.
So
sculpture.
Here are some more of your sculptures.
This is a series that I started in Senegal from 1993 to now, because I kept continuing making that kind of sculptures.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, nice.
And I work with artisans to make them. This was my exhibition at the, this was my exhibition at the Villa Calais West.
Right. This is the first time that I think you are exposed with us.
Was the second edition? The rest of it?
It was the first time. It was June 2014, the Racine exhibit. And I believe this was a continuation of your archetype series.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Then,
this was also exposed as well. It was pictures that you and photographer Josué Azor took pictures of your performance of the La Cercle de Frida, or in English, the Frida Circle.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about this particular performance?
Okay. Since first I have to present why I moved from very physical
sculpture
pieces through performance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. there is really two moments in my artistic career. From the first 20 years, I was making painting, sculptures. I have to say that my scholarship was a specialization into sculpture. So I'm more a sculptor than a painter, but I always have more opportunities to show painting than sculpture in general, for many reasons, for marketing reasons, and there is more demand for painting than for sculpture. And when I came back in Haiti, for example, installation, I was one of the first artists with Mario Benjamin making installation.
Yes.
And making non-permanent pieces. And after during these 30 years, I lived and worked in Canada, France, Senegal, and Haiti. I had exhibitions in several countries in Europe, in North America, Latin America, Africa, and the result of this, it is that my productions was disseminated all around the world, and it became a challenge to recuperate all of this and to collect them, and it counts a lot of money to collect them. So I had my first retrospective with the Institut Marcel, the French Institute, in 2007 at the Museum of at the Musée Collège Saint-Pierre.
Okay, it's PowerPoint.
The main museum in Haiti. And I did it with the support of the French Institute, and I had a catalog, and it was a pretext to finally collect all my work, and having critics, like serious critics like Yolanda Wood, writing about it, about the whole trajectory. And I had a film that Maxence Denis have done, and so I have a record of this retrospective, and I think it is an example for the new generation. I think artists, after a certain time of production, have to make this effort to summarize an artistic trajectory and make it readable, on peut dire ça, lisible, for the public, and also to record it.
Absolutely.
Okay, then after this retrospective, that counts a lot of energy, a lot of resources in all kind of things. I have to thanks Tessa Price-Mars, that was my help, my rescue to make it feasible. Tessa was really involved in the making of it. And without her, it was like impossible. And I also had Mario Benjamin scenography to make it presentable as the most professional way. And I had Maxence to make the film. So I had these three wonderful persons that still are my closest Haitian artist peers, to make it a success.
It's a beautiful example of, you know, artists supporting artists. You know, you
Yes.
have each person's bringing their special talent, and they are all supporting you to
Yes.
make, to realize this, because you had this image, you had this idea, and you need pieces for it. So
from my experience, individual initiative are not efficient in a context of development country. So it's the collective, just like AfricAmerica is doing, have did, like you're doing, and others are doing, the collaborative response to the precarity of and the lack of support. It's I think it is the only way. And then, okay, I told you that it was very demanding in terms of resources. And then after this period, I decided to make my creation more light in terms of circulation. And I decided to do it, to have more virtual materials. So I started making performance, which from which I always have a video. The performance is transformed into a video installation that have a visual presence on the web, and then also can be presented anywhere in museums, and that can travel without any cost. And I'm very satisfied of this kind of productions. It's I think it is an adaptation of economical restriction. I don't hear you.
Sorry. Okay. Can you explain a little bit more about the signification of the Cercle du Freda? What does that mean on Haitian society, where you grew up, and what do you want to tell the world about women's position?
Okay, as you can see it, my performance are based on the classical theater, like the antique classical theater, where you always have just three restrictions. It's the unity of action, the unity of space, and the unity of time. One time, one action, one space. This is the restriction, the formal frame of my performance. Then from that, the purpose is the action is to always the sewing action or the embroidery, which in the Caribbean context reminds the fabrication, what I call the fabrication of the Creole woman, which is also a project, the title of a project that I had presented in Yale University in I think it was 1994. No, 2004. 2014. I'm sorry. And then the sewing is part. The sewing action is part of the
traditional activity they give to the woman in Haiti, right?
It is part of the format. Comment on va formater? Comment tu dis ça en anglais? It is part of the fabrication of the stereotype.
Training, the formation.
It's more than formation. It is how they limited. They also limited you. For example, my generation have been to the certificat d'études primaires. It was a formal exam, governmental exam at the end of the school of the primary school. Okay, at the end of the primary school, we had this exam. The girl had a sewing exam and the boy had a drawing exam. And this clearly show you the
gender roles,
gender roles, the gender fabrication, and the segregation. The boys had the opportunity to develop their imagination, and the girl had to have this repetitive manual conditioning.
And so it was
conditioning is the word. It is to focus on the woman conditionment in the Caribbean. And this, I think this is also a colonial, it is also a colonial heritage, because the embroidery and the sewing activity was transmitted to our grandmothers from the Catholic sisters that came from Brittany in France generally. And it was the objective of this kind of conditioning. It was to make sure that women are always busy, always have something to do, and don't have time for dreaming or imagination or talking each other's or other kind of activities. It is a very domestic. It is about the domestication of women and colonization, the contribution of the colonization into it. And in the specific case of Haiti, we had a recolonization. After our independence, our elites have been recolonized through the religion, because the Catholic Church who had the responsibility of educate our grandmothers and our grandfathers. And this transmission have continued until my generation. And my generation stopped it. My daughter have been not educated that way. But my mother transmitted to me. And it's not just the beside the negative aspect of it, the domestication aspect of it. There is an aesthetic part of it. There is a beautiful gestural in the movement of sewing, and I really use the aesthetic of it also, and the serenity that it gives you, because this manual activity is a sort of exercise that gives a peaceful sentiment.
Kind of like a meditation as well. And it also gives an opportunity for you to be with women, and you share and you talk.
Yes, but sometimes I did it alone, and sometimes I did it with, it's not always collective. The first time that I did a collective one, it was in Barbados just after the earthquake. And I had a group of 7 women. And the title was, it was about the earthquake in Haiti. It was, the title is Deuil.
But I have a question for you. Did you have a symbolic of the place where you did the Frida's cycle? Because it was a space for exportation of agricultural product. But you
no, not at all, because I had no idea of the place when I decided to make it.
Okay, because I saw the link between the fact we asked the sister to educate the Haitian people by the government, and I saw the link with the space was dedicated to exportation to pay the debt of
it is completely accidental.
It was
Maybe
accidental.
I should have honored the experience in that place.
Maybe it was unconsciously, I don't know.
You should do it.
Yes, maybe. But it was a really great performance, and as we see the image, I would like to understand how the public receive it. Did they understand the work?
This piece has traveled all over the world. It has been presented at the Haitian exhibition in the Grand Palais Museum, which received like 70,000 visitors. That gives you an idea of how many people have seen it. Then was I also presented in Venezuela Biennale del Sur, and I think it had been presented also in Aruba, an exhibition in Aruba, and it is on the web. Look, many people have seen it. This is the major advantage of having a creation online.
Absolutely. I mean, in this day and age with technology, I mean, you definitely can open up the doors to a wider audience.
The collaborative aspect, again, as you see, it is a group of women. Most of them were artists. Some were students in theater. I also have Paula Payan, which is a metteur en scène and a comedian. She was my teacher in theater in the arts. And Pascal Faublas, which is a great woman artist in Haiti. And a youngest one, I had Mafalda, Nicolas Modestin, and 2 students from ENAS. And also the video is made from Maxence Denis, by Maxence Denis, and the photography have been taken from by Josué Azor. So with this piece, with this creation, we have one photographic exhibition and a video installation. And then the object, the cycle that you see, have been also presented in the context of the last forum. And it was a physical installation with a wooden suspension system, and it was something else, completely something else. But it is the evolutive aspect of that kind of creation.
Wow, that's really interesting. And I think you're giving a lot of ideas for young artists as well, to see that evolution of the work.
Of one creation that continue to grow and have other application.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, we have a few more minutes left, and I want to go into your other performance, which was L'Arc-en-Ciel. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It was about, it appeared 1 or 2 weeks after my best friends, Maxence and Josué Azo, have been aggressed by homophobic group in Haiti. And it was my response to them. It appeared that I was invited to make a performance, and I decided to make it about this affirmation of diversity. And it was to support my best friend, Maxence. It's like my brother. And when people attack him, it's like attacking my family. So that was my response to it.
Yes, I heard about that unfortunate incident where, as you said, that Maxence was aggressed in Jacmel.
Also, yes, living to die. Yes,
exactly. And that's the beauty about art, is that you were expressing, yourself, and it's kind of in solidarity with him. Yes. And there's different ways to express yourselves. Some people do art, you could do music, you can write a poem, you can write a story, you can get a bunch of tires and burn them in the middle of the street. I mean, there's different ways on how you can express yourself as an artist, and I just think that this is a wonderful example of using your creativity.
And at this, to this, with this performance, I also had a sort of manifesto, a paper that was distributed to the public. Then they were informed about the aggression.
And I believe that's such an effective way.
Yes, it was a political statement.
It's a statement. You're sensitizing communities. You're advocating that images stay much more, especially when you're dealing with a population in Haiti where the majority is illiterate. When you're speaking their language, which is art. I mean, every Haitian, I believe, is an artist. We're a very creative society. And so those forms of displaying messages are very effective, in my opinion. I don't know, would you agree, Xavier?
Yes, it is. Xavier?
Yes, I agree with you. It's a way to explain the people, the diversity of the world.
Just inform, because the majority didn't hear about this aggression.
They didn't hear about that and didn't understand. And some of them, unfortunately, agree. Yes. Because actually we have a brainwashing.
But look what's happened in Brazil, actually. There is a global radicalization of extremely right movement in the world. And we have to watch that.
That's when your performance is more.
We're going to have to fight that. And I think artists have a responsibility to fight back.
It is very because yes, I would say the world combats more than fascism, and they are less tolerant than a few years before. We're always thinking the world will be progressive in the right way, but now we have a turn back. We are the world trying to do, and that's gives more power to your performance and your work.
It is a treat for the freedom of speech, and if we don't fight now, we will lose our right to speak freely as artists. We will lose our right. Opportunity. And I can tell you that today in Haiti, this performance is illegal. This performance talking about the gay situation in Haiti, it's forbidden by the new law.
Exactly. So they recently, I believe maybe it was last year, they did a law about it.
For this kind of creation now.
Exactly. Any institution that promotes homosexuals or the gay and lesbian movement.
It could be interpreted like this. This is not the purpose of it, but it could be
interpreted.
The new law let's give a lot of possibility to large interpretation in the sense that that serve the fascism interest. Hello.
And that is another topic, Barbara. We'd have to schedule a whole other webinar on that because it's a topic within itself. And it's very, I would love to do another dialogue and a reflection on that. This is one of the last performances that you did at the Memorial Act that you were talking about a little bit earlier on. It was done maybe a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and these pictures were taken by Régine Cousin. So thank you, Régine, for these beautiful pictures. Can you talk a little bit about this particular performance, which was, as you mentioned, at the Memorial Act, which is a very significant place, and you could explain that a little why.
Thank you to Régine again. Régine Cousin, who is a curator working for more than 30 years. I've worked on the Caribbean region and Pacific region, and try to make connection between different parts of the world that not are in the great northern centers. And she really did a great job presenting artists from Pacific Island, Caribbean Islands, and Indian Ocean Islands. And she's also one of the 2 curators of the recent exhibition in the Grand Palais in Paris. Huge exhibition with a beautiful catalog and big advertising. And Régine Cousin is the one that invites.
Sans ans de l'Ancien, was that the name of the exhibit?
Yes, exactly. And then Régine Cousin is the curator that invites me to present a performance in the context of a festival about human rights, focus on human rights in Guadeloupe. And then I choose to work on the discrimination aspect. And my objective was to show how it is easy to discriminate, to practice discrimination very very on day-to-day basis, we all discriminate. Banal en anglais, banalize. Discrimination, it's a banalized practice. We always discriminate. And to show it, I use two different, clearly different materials, and I proceed to applicate very different type of treatment, clearly different types of treatment, unbalanced treatment to each materials. So I made a demonstration, a visual demonstration of discrimination. I think it's more pedagogical, and even a children looking this will understand what is the concern about discrimination. What is the action of discriminating? Even your children will understand after having looking this. Hello.
Okay. Uh-oh. Can you hear us now?
No, I am hearing you, yes.
Okay. Okay. We're almost at the end of our presentation. Before we go, what gave me this idea is recently I went to FIU in Miami at the Frost Museum, and I saw this phenomenal exhibit that was curated, as you mentioned, by Tatiana Flores, and it was titled Relational Undercurrents, Contemporary Art of the Caribbean Archipelago. Now there were quite a few artists that were represented from all over the Caribbean, but I was quite proud is that there was about 8 Haitian artists that were represented there at the exhibit, and you were one of the artists that were represented, and your piece was quite unique. Can you explain a little bit about that piece?
It was the unique invisible piece because it is a sound installation. It was a part of a bigger works that have been presented in the context of the Venise Biennale. I think it was 4 years ago. And then Tatiana Flores, thanks to her, decided to take my sound installation to be part of this exhibition. And it is about the text. It's a Creole translation of a text from the 15th century, which is a translation of Taino's oral tradition. And it is about Taino's mythology, Taino's beliefs. And it is, this material have been collected by Fra Ramon Pane, who was a religious, a clerk came in Hispaniola Island with Diego Colon in the 15th century. So he have met the last Taino's people, and he made a written record of their oral tradition. And this is the only testimony that we have about the Taino, the only sources of the Taino world and beliefs. And the Grand Palais document have been written in Latin. Then I found a French translation, adaptation, and I translated into Creole. And again, Maxence Denis have recorded my voice to make it.
Wow, it's
For me,
impressive.
Extremely impressive, because in Haiti, or even in the Caribbean, before the Africans came, there were the indigenous population. You had the Arawak, the Caribbean, the Tainos. So it fascinated me, and I was really attracted to it, the fact that you were able to kind of like merge these two cultures together. Even the third one being the colonizer, or the people who visited Haiti, they're expressing their opinion about Tainos, and then you're using Creole to express this story. A tradition in Creole, people love to speak, they love to share stories. So I just thought that the marriage of all of this was fascinating.
I think the Caribbean region is the laboratory of globalization. We had 500 years of globalization. We were the first globalized people in the world.
I believe you too. And that's another topic. That's another webinar within another webinar, because there's so much history
about it
regarding that.
This discussion can introduce the future, because my next project is with my brother Maxence Denis, and also two other curators, Sacha D and Régine Cousin. We are actually working on the 8th edition of the Transcultural Forum AfricAmerica. It will be it will take place between the 3 and the 10 of April. And the thematic, it's about the destruction of the Indias, which is the title of Bartolomé de las Casas' writing about the disparition of the Taino world, the destruction of the first of the natives of the New World. And we will not.
The forum, the forum will be around in April 2019.
Yes.
So basically, it's an opportunity for artists to have a chance to come to Haiti, to collaborate, to work on art pieces that are centralized of the topic.
And scholars, because I think a lot of scholars would like to come in Haiti on a very organized how do you say, visit.
Structured,
The forum gives these opportunities to be there when it's very well organized. We go to visit the artist studios. There is a conference, colloque, a lot of exhibition and workshop.
As you're talking, here are some pictures of the last forum that was conducted. We said, 2015, 2016, I can't remember. Yeah. But this is where we all went to Aken, which is a small town in the south of Haiti, where we went to a small little fisherman village, and we worked with them. And this is you working on one of their boats. This is Habdafai from Martinique, who has participated in a few forums before, who was working on a fisherman's boat as well. And why, Barbara, why do you do this? Why do you go into these villages and work with, what's your but, your objective?
It's always in the collaborative idea. We were invited by another organization, which is the Aquin Solidarité, Fondation Aquin Solidarité, Magali Denis and her family. And Magali Denis oriented us to this fisherman village because it was the forgotten part of the city. It was the, comment dire, orphan in the city, the orphan part of the city. And she needed us to go there and to valorize it. And I can tell you that after this, this part of the city have been completely transformed, and government, the Ministry of Tourism have really invested in this part of the city. So the place now is much more beautiful and much more clean and aménagé, comme on dit aménagé en anglais.
Ah, j'ai oublié. Aménagé.
Urbanized.
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 I think.
So I think we were the pioneers, showing how these places have a potentiality, and then the authorities understand and respond.
Definitely.
By a
I mean,
project.
this is a perfect example of how art can be used as a tool for social
and economic development. Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
So,
you can see that we also have, we also work with children. It is a part of our works. It's always to have diverse kind of publics, and children are target. Children represent important targets for us.
absolutely, they're a future, right? They're the future generation. So, okay, before we wrap it up,
one thing about this performance, I remember all the fishermen want to have their boat worked by the artist. But at one point, they were thinking like the artists give them luck for the work as fishermen.
We realized it after that for them, for them, they had another interpretation of the art of the artistic action. For them, it has a magical aspect that we didn't expect.
Yes, maybe it's the power of the artist. We are connected to something.
We became magicians.
exactly, more fish.
Yeah.
Okay, so question, Barbara. We've had a chance to kind of see just a little goûter, a little taste of, you know, some of the major accomplishments in your career, and we see that there's been a diversity. So right now in 2018, why do you feel the need to shift the orientation of your art?
Well, as I have explained it to you, I need to facilitate the circulation, the dissemination of my work on a less heavy way. And I think the virtual and the numerical mediums are more adapted than sculpture or painting that limitate a lot the circulation the visibility.
Absolutely. So you would like to reach a larger audience because you've got this message that you want to share.
Make it easier to be presented all over in the biennales and with less cost.
Yeah, that's always helpful. Now, what is your preferred way to express yourself artistically? So get rid of logistics, get rid of, the financial aspect.
Okay. My preferred way is to make public monumental works, as I did in Azuay Lake, as I did in Jacmel or in Croix des Bouquets. But of course, this means money. It's expensive, and the command, the opportunities are not available always.
I mean, it would be nice to see more, organizations, or even, local governments recognize the importance of public institutions.
But we also have to work on the protection of these works, because if public money serves to others monuments, and then if we cannot protect them and it could disappear and nobody asks, it doesn't make sense. It's absurd. Specifically,
I'm going to say this one more time.
A so poor country like Haiti. Frankly, I would have preferred it I would have preferred this money to go to a school or to feed children than have it to spend on art pieces that will disappear. It makes no sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. And once again, anybody who's listening to this video, if you have any information, please get in contact with us. It's a public service announcement.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see another question. Well, we talked about the orientation of your art. Xavier, do you have any questions? Oh, this is one I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Quickly. What can we learn by exploring the Taino and African cultural relations through your artwork? Because we see a lot of this influence in a lot of your pieces.
I'm not the only one. I think it is a current in the Caribbean art history that you can find from Wilfredo Lam, through Tiga, through my mother's work, through Ronalmeuse. And I think we are a family working on that field. And many artists in the French islands are following that, are developing that kind of language also.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And do you have any particular opinions in what is the role of women in art or in contemporary art? Or in
the Caribbean? Because
or Caribbean.
In the Caribbean, I think we are doubly discriminated. First as a woman of color, as geographically isolated citizen, as Haitian, as a citizen of one of the poorest countries in the world, that came with a lot of stereotypes. And also there is a local discrimination also that gives more attention to men, because the curators they are more comfortable with the man heroical attitude. Okay, male artists are more heroic, and that convince the curator. They took less. There is less risk. It is less risky to work with heroic male artists than women that, especially women that have developed a more
powerful work, in fact.
I will not say that. I will just say that my work is it's a risky thing. I took risk, and to me, creation it's tight with risk, and no, it's the laboratory and experimental dimension of my work. It's very avant-garde for the curator, the Haitian curators. They do not have the tools. They do not already have the tools and the language to understand my work.
But I guess it's not only your work, because for me, actually, as an art collector, I'm more focused on Asian women contemporary artists, because the work is more powerful than the majority of the men. Actually,
this is a judgment of value, and it's not.
No, because it's not a judgment of value.
It's not objective.
It's not a judgment of value, because I feel actually a lot of Asian men artists is more stay in the comfortable zone where the woman is
zone of comfort, yes. But there is much more men. There is much more men than women.
Yes.
We are few women continuing, because you can have more women who will start, but after I mean, the test is when they get married and they have child with responsibility. Many of them will abandon the career. So the women that will kept and will continue for decennies are very rare. After 10 years, it is a test. After 20 years, it is another test. And after 30 years, like me.
You deserve a medal. Woo!
Yes.
You made it.
Yes.
But actually, we have a young generation in Haiti who start working, young generation of women. And I guess they will continue because they will follow your path.
Yes, I definitely put my trust in Tessa Mars, and I think Mafalda Mondestin is also going to be a very good one also, and we have to encourage more and more. I think in our case, the positive discrimination is a necessity. We have to push women artists in Haiti. We have to push it. It will not be done naturally. Not.
We should see the women artists as their work, and it will be rebalanced because they have a very powerful work. They have a lot of say to things about the society, about the being a woman in Haiti actually, and just for the curator have to open their eyes and just see what women artists has created actually. We doesn't.
There is two levels. First, we have to fight for the contemporary art scene, because the collection in Haiti, the private collection and the public collection, the rare public collection, are not actualized. These collections are very old. They have not been actualized since the last 30 or 20 years. And the new generation is not represented into these collections. So this is a target. This is a challenge. And then inside of this, we have to fight for the woman presence.
Maybe we have to push a collector in the next webinar to talk about the fact we are collecting and why we're collecting, the direction of the collection, because we have to make this work also.
I think we should have a webinar with the collectors, people like Rénal Lally, like Jacques Bartoli, and I mean, there is a few collectors that, Conrad Tournier, you have to ask, try to have a webinar with them. Because these collections are influencing the market also.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing these webinars, is because this information, we are doing our part in contributing towards the contemporary movement in Haiti by disseminating information. And we want to get everybody's opinions and hear what people have to say. Yes. And I think you brought up some very good points.
But you
and
should have the art dealers also to see their
definitely what
motivates them.
Definitely, definitely. Oh my gosh, you guys! I think we've been talking for like 2 hours.
Yes.
All right, so Barbara, do you have any last words for us before we wrap this up?
It's the invitation. Let's see. The rendezvous. It is in Haiti in 2009, between the 3 and the 10 April 2019.
Exactly. The Transcultural Forum. We'll be able to give you guys more information. info@collective509.com. You could also check out AfricAmerica.org. Okay. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Dakar. Have a good Sunday. Bye.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
Bye.